Ask them directly. They'd love 3189.
Because it's dinner,
or just go to harmonsolar.com.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD.
Here we go, gentlemen.
99.3 FM and K240 EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM. Wherever you go, take us along. Listen to our live stream on our free Fanatic app. Download it today.
It's the weekend!
Warriors! Warriors! Come on to play!
Yeah! Here we go!
You're live.
Good NFL Sunday morning, everybody. We're broadcasting live from the Weekend Warriors studios in beautiful Peoria, Arizona. I'm Ralph Romano, alongside my partner in crime, the legend Neil Atticus Sappington Lynch, and the
Good recall.
right? And the legendary Philip Amorine back in the studios. And this is the Weekend Warriors Football Sunday Week
12.
12.
Hey,
edition.
you listening to the show, get involved. Be a part of our program. Text us on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580. Or hit us up in the comment sections on X, YouTube, and Facebook, where we're streaming the show live.
So how's it going, Atticus?
Well, you see, Atticus Sparrington's one of those names that just feels like it should be a Roman name, but it also feels like it's kind of a Southern name. So I can't really make a decision.
Well, I just asked how you're doing. I didn't need it.
So as I was saying the other day,
You remember the short answer from last week?
no. Was there a short answer? I have no idea. What
Not from Neil.
That's not me. No.
Never from Neil.
No. No, I've said.
All
No,
right.
I'm good. I'm okay. Fine. Do that again. Try that again. Just ask me again.
How's it going, Atticus?
It's good.
All right. My goodness. All right, so
We had quite the week last week.
we had week 11 last week. Let's look back at week 11. We have a big week 12.
The
this
week that was.
We have a very We should have a sounder for that.
For what?
The week that was.
The week
The
that
week
was.
that was. That's
That is a soap opera right
the
there.
week that was.
Get on that, Phil.
This
Brought
week
to you-
on
brought
the
to you
week
by-
that was.
There you go. All right, so a couple of things that stood out. Bills handed the Chiefs their first loss last week.
Wah 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 wah.
It's kind of, we were all kind of, I think we kind of thought that was going to happen.
Yeah, it felt like
It
everybody
felt
expected
like
it.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, the Bills are playing, they're on top of their game right now. That's kind of scary all of a sudden, right?
Yep.
Maybe the Bills are coming out of the AFC. Who knows?
Could be.
It's possible.
I mean, if anything else, this is a wake up call for the Chiefs because they've been rumbling, bumbling, stumbling their way through 9-0.
They've been rumbling, stumbling.
Yeah, so it's like if eventually I was going to catch up to them. So now they have to
Right.
figure out how to play actual football. So it's a good thing. Obviously, it is an important win. Of course, all the Chiefs fans are meaningless win. And it's like, well, you have to play the games, so that's
Right.
stupid. So you know what? Maybe you should use this as an opportunity to fix some things. You ever thought of that?
Stop
Anyway.
being logical, Neil.
Just replace. Oh God, I can't even forget it. You know what? I'll think of that later. But I had a
Okay.
really great thought and it disappeared. That's what happens. When you
That
get
happens
old.
when you get old.
Yeah, exactly.
My second favorite was probably the Detroit Lions, what they did to Jacksonville. I don't think they didn't score on any drive.
They,
In the
yeah,
first 7 drives.
No, they scored. I think they scored on every drive. The last one I think was a field goal. But yeah, because they got tired.
52-6. That's crazy.
That's unbelievable. That's like an 8-man football score.
Yeah. And then,
It's
of course,
crazy.
the greatest thing that happened last week was that Seahawk victory over the 49ers. For me, anyway.
That was. was a
Are
little
we
bit of a-
sure? Are we sure?
We're sure.
I mean, the Broncos scored does nothing for you?
Nothing.
No.
Give
Who
me
are
a
they?
rash, but
Are the Broncos still? Are they still in the NFL? Is that what's going on? Here?
I think the Falcons are avidly aware of how much they are still in the NFL.
I see. So they're doing well then. So the Bo Nix experiment is working.
I told you guys. Follow me if you want money. There's no way the Broncos lose this game. I feel it's going to be fairly easy. My goodness, it's like you guys don't want a return on a 401 now.
no.
No, I
Because you pay a penalty.
I prefer to put all my money on 0-0 on the roulette wheel. Advice. Forget about it. I don't want to do that.
On the one time it hits, it's very profitable.
Oh, that's true.
Anyway,
just my dating life.
it was nice to see the Seahawks come. It was nice to see Geno on that last drive, and they came back and they won. And just that team is looking better and better. They really shut down McCaffrey too, so that defense is starting to play. We'll see. We got a lot to talk about for this week's game.
Yeah, I think I don't know. Well, for me, a great game was, of course, the Chicago Bears choking at the end and giving the Packers a super lucky victory in a game that they really, really should have lost. But
Neil, I hate to be the one who is now the official cheesehead of the show. Far be it from me to tout that over you, but me and Ralph have a far more better claim to being the cheeseheads of this show than you do, as you betrayed them and you got bearsed. That's what happens when you go full Bears. Is that you get disqualified from being a Packers fan. You get a field goal block because they can read your kicker better than your own team recognizes your kicker's deficiencies and what have you. Because then you get soft, and then now look at your fingernails. They got paint on them, and that's on you, Neil. That is on you.
look, first of all, the Packers do not participate in the NFL cancel culture, as you are alluding to. All right, they will forgive me because I guarantee you that I think a lot of Packers fans probably felt the same way. Like, this game, I don't know, but you know what? You're right. The Bears were the Bears. I think everybody, including myself, Ralph more than me, but at some point everybody wanted the Bears and Caleb Williams to be a little more successful this year. Not go to the Super Bowl successful, but just to
Certainly.
be a little more successful. And they just keep sucking. They keep doing it.
Well, I don't think they're sucking. I think they have terrible leadership.
Sucking? Yeah, well,
Their leadership's bad.
okay, so leadership's bad, but leadership doesn't lace up and get on the field.
No, but either does the offensive line, which kind of hurts.
That's true, yeah. They weren't there.
If they had an offensive line, they'd be a lot better. They just
I think,
don't have
yeah,
one.
yeah. Well, and that was kind of the rap going in. I think there was questions about the O-line, and now those are all laid bare, which is the opposite prediction of what's happening with the Cardinals, which we will get to later.
Yeah, later.
But anyway, the Bears, yeah, that's just been a clown show. It's disappointing. Looking at their record, as I think we talked about this last week too, we're going to talk about it again this week. The only game for the rest of the season that they might, and I say might with a big capital M, might win is against the Seahawks.
Oh my gosh.
But that's it, right? By the time we get to that game, it's the next to last game of the season. The Seahawks may be formidable enough to make that an L for them, and there's a chance they might not win the rest of the year.
Yeah, maybe. We don't want to give the Seahawks too much credit there.
Oh
Neil,
my
yeah.
gosh. We're going to talk Seahawks.
But
in a
if we're
second.
looking back in the rearview mirror just for a moment, I think this is an omen for the offseason of this upcoming year. Is that stop buying in and feeling the goodness that is of getting skill positional players over, the Chargers had a very boring offseason. They got rid of a lot of their skill position players, but what did they get? They got Joe Alt. They upgraded in the trenches. They upgraded with running back. And look at how that's paying dividends, as opposed to the Bears, who kept getting a wide receiver, drafted a wide receiver, got a nice tight end, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, what's their downfall right now is the offensive line.
Yeah.
I
Very
think
good point.
so. So the song is still true. The Bears still suck.
Yes.
So-
And shame on you for picking them.
I
Shame
know, I
on
know,
you,
I know.
Neil, especially over
I-
the Packers.
Yeah, last week was not a good week for me on picks. We'll get to that later in the show. But the other game that I thought was great, and I listen, I don't like to be the one who cheers against a team because I just feel like that's a very awful way to be a fan. I feel like it's negative and it brings a lot of negative energy and crystals and Sedona and all that stuff. But what I will say is this: I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed watching the Cowboys lose again in their own home to
delicious.
the Texans. That was beautiful.
Why do you guys like pain like that? That's not, if you're a Cowboy fan, it's not your fault.
I think for most Cowboy fans, it is their fault, to be honest.
Most of them ask for it, Ralph.
They
It
ask
is-
for it?
Yeah, they're asking for Jerry to be so angry that the ceiling even resents him and starts falling in. Yeah.
Well, I thought that was funny, and someone called it out. After the game, what's the focus on with the Cowboys? The reporters are all around Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is all about ego. It is so blatantly obvious now this man doesn't care about anything except himself,
Right.
because he becomes the focus. Now maybe he's saying, hey, maybe he's being altruistic and saying, listen, I'll take the focus of it so that we can deflect the blame away from the team where it actually should be. Well, actually, it should be on Jerry Jones too. But this season is the epitome of that meme of the dumpster on fire.
I mean, I agree with you.
It's
Hey,
unbelievable.
A couple things. So we got a chat from Blissful Hayes saying, "Good morning, Ralph, Neil, and Phil. Have a great show. Let's go Bears versus Vikings." That's
Oh, that's not going to happen.
Well, now hold on. Neil.
Oh, Hunted
Now,
Child. Hunted
hold on,
Child.
Hold on.
Hunted Child.
go ahead.
Oh, I mean, we'll save it for picks.
Oh,
but
okay.
I
Okay.
think that is a much closer game.
Hunted Child.
It
Hunted
sounds like
Child.
Neil. Neil, you're going to be wrong on the Bears. Just give into it.
Oh no, I don't. I think
You've
the
got a
Vikings are
blind
gonna
spot.
kill 'em, but that's different.
We also got Rich on the text line. Good morning, Rich. Says Trevor Lawrence is being wasted like Archie Manning was being wasted by the Saints back in the day.
Well, at least Trevor
Well, that's
Lawrence
an old school reference. Sorry.
That is. Trevor Lawrence at least gets to rest on the sideline as he recovers from surgery, season-ending surgery. So, yes, he's being wasted, but at least he gets to rest. Anthony Richardson should be so lucky.
Speaking of rest, you know who else gets to rest? Mr. Daniel Jones,
Well, yeah,
is-
until at least Monday.
He'll be a
Monday's when he
Cowboy.
clears.
who was
waivers.
summarily released by the team.
He's going to be a Cowboy.
Give it to me, Ralph. I want that pettiness on Thanksgiving. I've got enough family drama. I need some more for Thanksgiving. Give me that Daniel Jones matchup. I want it.
You know Jerry Jones will do that just to be Jerry Jones.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Oh, that would
it cost
be
him
fun.
nothing. Cost him nothing, and do it.
It's a soap opera that I am completely here for. This is the male equivalent of dishing gossip. Yeah. So what that means, of course, is that they skipped Drew Lock, and now they're
Which
starting.
is stupid.
Their starting quarterback
Is it? Is it
Tommy
stupid?
Cutlets. Tommy DeVito. I thought you'd be happy as a fellow Italian American playing for the Giants. I thought you'd be more happy about this.
I like my greaser like anyone else, right? We're all greasers as Italians. I get it. But I'm telling you, Drew Lock has got some talent. He's a good quarterback. He just needs the right opportunity, and he's better than Cutlets.
Well, you know
Which
why
is
they're doing
exactly why they won't do it, Ralph.
He'll be starting in the matter of 2 weeks because
No, he won't.
Tommy will get hurt or just be terrible.
this.
Why is Coach Mike McCarthy still there? Why did they go to Tommy Cutlets in the first place?
Publicity. They want to
yeah.
get butts and seats. They want to salvage their season financially. That's exactly why they put Tommy DeVito in.
No,
It's a
if you-
gimmick.
No, oh, sure, it's an attraction, it's a circus. Say that all
like a
that you
cutting
may.
board.
But how do you get a better draft pick? If you know that you're tanking this year, that it's all gone to hell, why not put out an entertaining circus? Put out the most traffic fire that you can put out there, because at least people will buy it. Yes, but I'd say that overall, the first goal 1.1 is to lose. Drew Lock gives them too much of a chance, and same with the Cowboys. Either way, you're trying to lose. You need to lose.
If you're Drew Lock, how pissed are you? You're thinking, all right, this guy's gone. I got my shot now, and then they put the third string in.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty
It's just
bad.
gotta piss you off. You left Seattle because you were hoping you get a chance in New York, and you don't even get the chance.
Yeah.
That's just wrong.
That
Coming
was
from a
that was
Broncos
really
guy,
bad.
one
one
could
other-
argue
one
how,
other
how
thing to
talented he is, but yeah,
He's not bad.
it's not good.
I mean, come on. When he was with you guys, remember when he was young, he still did a good job with every different coordinator every year.
You know, the best thing about him year in and year out was, oh yeah, he's got some white boy moves. You know, he's got he's doing a nice little dance on the sideline. That's all I got.
Can you show us those?
Yeah, he was like,
Show us the white boy move.
something like that. And he
that-
was more
is-
impressive than I. He had athleticism. He had dexterity. He had the full mobility in the pocket of the bench.
Is
You know,
that
like
Elaine
that's where he
from
was.
Seinfeld you just did just now?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe
pretty
it could
good.
have. Yeah, I tried. I tried to give you a little something, a little sauce.
So hey, Thursday night game.
Sauce.
Thursday night game. If you were watching the screen in the third quarter and looked away, went to the bathroom and came back, snow. It's
Two
all white.
different games. Two different games.
Unbelievable. It was
It's gonna be of my youth.
that was so. Listen,
Every time they did a recap of the first quarter, you're like, "Oh wow, what a fun game that was!"
Yeah.
And now I've got part two,
Snowball.
return of the snowball. Yeah.
yeah, no, that was beautiful. For as a former Midwesterner, it was kind of nice to see the soft, fluffy snow falling, and there was a lot of it. So that was
know-
actually quite lovely. But Jameis Winston,
Woo,
I don't
what a
know, man. This dude.
He looked good.
Well, he looked good, but they interviewed him before the game. He's just like, I'm going to play the snow game. This is great. I love this.
I thought he was praising Jesus, and he was.
Oh, yeah. Like, like,
Hey man, good for you. I'm all about that. Do that stuff. Be yourself. Be who you are, and if that's who you are, amen.
well, and he couldn't, listen, he couldn't have been happier with everything. He was happy going into it, and obviously he was happy with the outcome. So that was fun to watch. That was one of those games where you're like, this might be a snoozer, who knows? But
It was
no,
a great game.
the snow came in and made it a game.
Russ
It was
looked good too,
fantastic.
man. I can
Oh,
believe the throws.
stop it.
The throws he was making, and the people were catching. How do you even see that ball coming?
Especially being in the white jerseys in the snow. That is
That was
difficult.
tough, right?
Well, I mean, Russell Wilson, he had a decent, it was a 270 yards.
He
had a
looked good.
decent performance.
270, 21 to 28 with a tutty. Yeah.
He doesn't take that loss. That's not his fault. I mean, the defense just couldn't stop Winston.
No, you know what it was? Mother Nature. The
Oh,
snow.
I thought that was a game that people thought was going to suck. Was probably a great game, maybe one of the best of the week.
You know who was the happiest about that? Is our friend Al Michaels. Because that guy has called some really bad games since he moved over to Thursday Night Football, the Amazon Prime, and now he's had a couple of good games this year. So good for our friend Los Angeles native Al Michaels.
Hard to tell with Al. It's very hard for him to get excited anymore. But speaking of which, it was very exciting to watch this game with the girlfriend because every time they cut to the crowd, I got the question of the first year watching a football person. Why is that guy in the snow not wearing a shirt? baby, I that's a man. That's all I can tell you, baby. I don't know.
That's a man.
That's a man. He's
Stupid man.
It's a man, and there's a reason why. And why is he? I mean, why is he wearing a wrestling mask? I don't know, baby. That's a man.
It's
I
Cleveland.
don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, it's Cleveland, and that's what they do over there.
Honey, this is what happens when you consume mass quantities of alcohol. You don't feel the cold anymore.
You're just warm. You are warmth.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when you grow up in Cleveland, I'm just thinking those are things that you do. What else are you going to do?
We
That
can go
is
to the
your
Rock
life.
and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay, after that 10 minutes, then what do you do?
50
Can you take your shirt off in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
That's a good question. We may have to do some
We'll have to get some
investigation.
live reporting.
If anybody has any insight, any
gosh.
listeners know about that, you can text us either on social media or
Can
on the text
you
line.
be naked in the Hall of Fame? One wonders.
I think you can.
I don't know about the naked part. Maybe shirtless.
That's kind of naked.
That's kind of a rock and roll thing. What do you mean, kind of naked?
It's partially naked.
I feel like there would be some
Well, technically, by definition,
inductees
yes.
that have shown up naked. Like that's a very rock and roller thing to do.
Yeah,
to show
right?
up and be
I
inducted
can see that.
naked. Yeah.
Like Prince would go there like that. Not anymore, but
Well. Mm.
I don't think you can see his areolas anymore.
Gallows heel.
Hey,
All right,
yo.
Rich is back on the text line saying even the Cowboys Stadium doesn't want to see the Cowboys play.
Amen.
That is funny, dude. Very funny. Nobody wants to see him, not even the stadium.
I mean, that's so like you want to talk about just a train wreck of a season. On top of everything else, now the stadium's falling apart. Jerry's house. Although I did see they had some kind of charity thing, and everybody when that stadium was first built, you saw that giant screen, and a lot of people's thoughts was, God, I'd love to play a video game on that. Well, sure enough, there was some charity thing they talked about during one of the broadcasts, but they actually showed. I think it was a Cowboys player with somebody that won some contest or some charity thing, and they were playing Madden on the giant
That's kinda
AT&T
cool.
Stadium screen. Like that's
Wow.
nerd heaven right there. That would have been fantastic. I'd like to do
Have you
that.
been there? I've been there.
I've never been there.
Never been there? Phil, you
No.
been there?
No, I can't say I have.
It's massive.
Looks beautiful.
That stadium's massive. Anyway, all right, so we're up against the break. When we come back, it's time to talk Cardinals Seahawks, and we'll break that game down and give our very unbiased information about this game.
The Battle of the Birds.
The Weekend Warriors Football Sunday right here on 1580 The Fanatic.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Live and local.
Nothing can prepare you for the epic return of Yellowstone. Sundays at 8, only on Paramount Network. And Philo's here to take you on the ultimate journey back to the Dutton Ranch. That's right, because Philo's
hear
the
me?
most affordable way to watch new episodes of Yellowstone live. If that's not enough, Philo's
Yes,
also got a
that's
whole world of entertainment under one roof, bringing you the best way to watch over 70 top-rated channels, including Paramount Network, AMC, Discovery, History Channel, and more. All for just $28 a month. With Philo, you can watch TV and on-demand TV anytime, anywhere, on up to 3 devices at once. So if your family's anything like the Duttons, you've got one less thing to fight about. You can also save the shows you love, like Yellowstone, and watch them for up to a year. So what are you waiting for? Start your free trial today by going to philo.tv. That's PHILO.tv to start saving more on the TV you just can't afford to miss. And don't miss the epic return of Yellowstone Sundays at 8, only on Paramount Network.
You've got a Pepto predicament, moviegoer.
Hey, I can hear your stomach grumbling.
Sorry, I ate that entire tub of popcorn with extra butter.
You overdid it, and now your movie has turned into a blockbuster bellyache. Undo it with Pepto.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto Chewables provide fast 5-symptom relief, so you can focus on the action on the big screen instead of in your stomach. When you overdo it, undo it with Pepto. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. Terms and conditions apply.
In most countries of the world, Porte means door. United Porte Custom Doors, located in the Scottsdale Airport Design District, is now open with over 40,000 European doors, all in stock, ready for delivery, and at wholesale prices. Designers, contractors, builders, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, P-O-R-T-E. Stop by to see and feel the quality at United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
With all the school supplies your child will need over the years, it can be easy to overlook the most important one of all, money, which is a good reason to open an AZ529 education savings plan. Whether you invest $15 or $150 a month, your money grows tax-free. By the time your little one is ready for college, vocational school, or workforce training, they'll have all the savings they need to get the job of their dreams. Visit az529.gov to get started.
This message is sponsored by the Office of the Arizona State Treasurer.
It's the sound of the fight songs, the excitement of the rivalries. It's the unbelievable upsets. It's the Heisman hopefuls. It's the national rankings. College football is coming. Listen for it on 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
You're lying.
It's the Weekend Warriors on 1580. The Fanatic.
Hey, if you're listening to the show, get involved. Join us. Be a part of the conversation. Join us on the Fanatic text line. That's 888-368-1580. Or hit us up on the comment sections on X, YouTube, and Facebook where we're streaming live. Hey, what we didn't talk about from last week, or it's kind of leading into this week, and I want to get your thoughts on it, everybody, is this whole drama going with Aaron Rodgers. There's a lot of scuttlebutt all of a sudden. There's a lot of news coming out, which personally I think was timed. But they're talking about the fact that Aaron Rodgers, besides the fact we all know how horrible they're doing, even though he got his buddy back, Devontae Adams, onto the Jets, there's been a lot of stories published about the fact that Aaron Rodgers has been intentionally avoiding getting scans so they don't reveal the extent of his injuries. There's talk of him getting benched this season. There's also a lot of talk of cutting him and not bringing him back for next year. So I guess I'll pose the question to both of you. Your thoughts on all of the drama surrounding the Jets.
I'll let you go, Phil.
Well, I think it's a bit of both, right? It's a bit of what is this season and then what projects. The drama this season, completely on Aaron Rodgers. You've made your bed, go ahead and lay in it. I think putting another person as the fall guy, I mean, eventually they're going to run out of scarecrows and punching bags to punch at. I don't know, like, you fire the GM, I mean, what's left? The owner, and that's not happening. So I think we've reached the final end of, like, people that can take the fall. I mean, they've run out of kickers. Hopefully, eventually you land on one. I don't know where that is. Everything this year is and can be laid bare at the feet of Aaron Rodgers. Going forward, I think the fact that he's hinting at playing for another team, the fact that he possibly can retire, but he's going to take his time. I think he's going to call Woody Johnson's bluff. I think a lot of this comes down to, if we want to get slightly political, I think Woody Johnson is going to be appointed ambassador to all of Ireland and the nation of the European. I don't even know where he's going, but he's going to be appointed there. So he's setting everything up in anticipation of that to be set up to where he can run it from afar and to where for those 4 years he can have already had a say in it. I think that's why we're getting so many forward-looking and projecting stories concerning Aaron Rodgers, and partly why Aaron Rodgers wants to call his bluff and be like, why am I going to say that I'm going to retire now, not get paid the full amount that I would be due then, make it as hard for the Jets as possible, them cut me, and then if I want to continue, I can even wait till middle of next season, come in for an injury-plagued 49ers team or some other contending team and make their dreams come true, as opposed to having to be traded, as opposed to not having a say in where I go, yada, yada.
All I'll add to that is hire John Gruden and he'll stay.
Oh, interesting.
I've heard that talk.
That's very interesting.
Oh,
All right, well,
interesting.
I just wanted to mention that because I feel like we overlooked that, but all
I'm
right.
fine with him going away. He's done. He's been done for a couple of years. So.
Yeah, it's not.
This
it's
is
not
getting
aging
stupid.
well.
This is just getting stupid.
He needs to sell his own brand of ayahuasca and just go away.
Somebody uncorked the bottle, and instead of wine, it was a fart. And it's Aaron Rodgers. He's the old fart.
Wow, that was he knocked Ralph off his
Man,
game.
I had to go to the
he had,
cough-
he had to
yeah,
hit the cough button on that one. Good.
I
grief.
love it.
All right, so let's get into the Cardinal game. So
Yes.
we have the Arizona Cardinals 6-4 against the Seattle
A bird.
Seahawks in Seattle, who are 5-5.
A fake bird.
Over at Lumen Field. Seahawks, as of last night, were a 1-point favorite, but this has been going back and forth, so I'm not sure where they're at now.
Right now, the Seahawks are -1.
So they're still -1. I got a total of 47.5. It's going to be wet conditions. It's supposed to get a little rain, mist going on in that, so it'll be typical Seattle day. Cardinals are on a 4-game win streak. Calm down, Cardinal fan. You haven't beaten much in those 4 games, but you're on a 4-game win streak. But today you're not playing the Jets and you're not playing the Bears, just to say. They have went from 2-4 to 6-4, which is it's still an accomplishment. They're averaging 26.3 points a game. Their offense is clicking. Their defense has been very good. They're allowing just 14.3 points a game. But again, got to look at who they're playing. Seahawks are coming off a big 20-17 victory over the Niners, breaking that 6-game losing streak against them. And they just seem different. They just seem like a team that could be ready to make a run. We'll see. So with that said, I'm going to start with Phil. What do you think about this game?
Well, being the Cardinals fan and the voice of reason, as I have been for at least 3 of the 4 wins, and being the person that has had the gall, the courage, nay, the gonads, to pick the Arizona Cardinals in 3 of the past 4 winning streaks.
Gonads.
The gonads, dare I say. Sorry to use the Latin pronunciation.
That's okay.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to put my gonads back on the line, and the Arizona Cardinals are going to win this. And the way that they're going to win is because they're simply put, they're healthy. Look, the Seahawks,
They are healthy.
Their wins have been against questionable of health wins. Whether it's the 49ers, whether it be the Atlanta Falcons, and we're still questioning whether or not that Achilles is fully healed for the Kirk Cousins-led Falcons. The Cardinals have they're not going into fortunate conditions. Granted, the Seattle Seahawks have one of the last true home field advantages, not in just sports, but certainly in football. But I think you're best prepared in the best of ways to go up against it and nullify it. First of all, it's a division opponent, so they're at least familiar with it. Second of all, you're going after a bye. You're going after a great win. I think that there's a lot of momentum here for the Cardinals, and they can still play the count us out card of being, we're not favored, we're not supposed to win this game. Seattle Seahawks just beat the 49ers, they have our full attention. This very well could put the division even further in the rear view mirror. I think that the Arizona Cardinals are primed to win this game, and heaven forbid, the moment I start to actually trust them, they go and show their underwear to everybody. But I think that the Cardinals are going to win.
So you're saying they're going to pull a Mike Tyson?
Not the full Mike Tyson,
Sure.
just half Mike Tyson.
Just like
one cheek.
One
cheek.
booty cheek, not two.
Yeah. They'll have a bad quarter, but I'm hoping it's not a full game.
I see.
All right, Neil. Let's hear what you got to say.
So, yeah, everyone's like, well, let's see how this goes. So, if you think about the race for the NFC West right now, you've got surprisingly, you've got the Arizona Cardinals at 6-4. Everybody else at 5-5, but the Rams are second. Seahawks are currently third. Niners are fourth. So when I think about the dynamics of this division, I realize that, anything can happen. And of course, the Seahawks have been wildly successful against the Cardinals historically leading up to this. Okay. So, it's, 5-0? Seattle's 5-0 against them in the last 5 matchups, and they've been outscored against Seattle, 39 points? So they clearly, the momentum is on, historically, whatever that's worth, is on Seattle's side, okay? But you know what? This is why they play the games, man. This is why they play the games. And I'm making this pick.
You both can drop.
For selfish purposes, because Even though I am saving my money for the Arrowhead Grill bet, I would like to not spend it. I'd like to spend it on something else a little more fun than listening to Ralph brag about the Seahawks. I actually think, I believe in momentum, and I do believe that the Cardinals are, against all odds and against all logic, are going to somehow pull out a win. They're going to figure out a way to win because that's the thing. Everything is stacked against them. The home environment is great for Seattle, awful for anybody else. Historically, Seattle has owned them. I just think it's going to change. And as much as it pains me to say this, Ralph, and I don't say this with any joy other than maybe getting a free meal at Arrowhead Grill, I do think that at the very least, I think the Cardinals are going to cover. But I actually think the Cardinals win this game outright.
You know what's going to really change? My co-host and producer. That's
really now.
Change. Yes.
Really now.
So you're picking the Cardinals.
I am picking the Cardinals.
Just to be clear, last week when we had a Seattle Seahawks game against the 49ers, you picked where, Ralph? I'm trying to remember who.
And we'll talk about this game now.
Red Sea Rising. Woo!
So we have on chat on X, we have Blissful Hayes saying, I'm definitely taking the Seahawks today. See, that's a man that knows what he's talking about. I'm just saying.
That's a man,
Blissful
baby.
Hayes,
That's a man.
That's a man. So Neil touched on something that was interesting. So Seattle has won 5 of the last 6, 5 in a row. The last time Seattle lost to Arizona was in November of 21.
It was a long time ago.
So we'll just take that into perspective.
That was like freshly chewed Pete Carroll gum.
Yes, it was fresh. Kind of fresh.
Winter fresh.
You know, this game, I was watching I don't know if you guys ever watched that Cardinal head coach show. Jonathan Gannon does a show every week.
Yeah, I have not watched it.
It's hard to watch because Ron Wolfley's on there, and man,
Ron Wolfley.
I like Ron Wolfley's voice. He should never do TV.
Hey,
he does it. He looks like he's finished doing about 3 or 4 lines, and he doesn't know which way to look. His hands are going crazy. He looks uncomfortable as heck. But anyway,
yeah.
And he just asked really
Ron Wolfley randomly getting shots in the.
He's doing something.
He's taking strays.
I love the guy, but man, he has like 2 misshapen eyes, and the eyelids are just going up.
Great voice though, right?
Yeah, well,
great color voice.
Great voice. Yeah.
Well, here's what I'd say about Mr. Wolfley. I love the man. I think he's great. He seems like a really good person. But when my wife and I first moved here, we're listening to Cardinals games on the radio. We heard this voice, and it sounded like if Jesse Ventura and Bill Walton had a love child. This is what it sounded like. So we love him, but we do love him. So.
Yeah. So when I look at this game, and when they were talking about, I was listening to these guys talk, and I agree with them. The key to this game for the Cardinals is they have to be able to run the ball. And they talk about their 3-headed monster. To me, it's a 3-headed puppy, but whatever. They have a 3-headed monster that has to be able to do some damage today. And that's a concern for the Seahawks because for most of the games this year, they have not been able to stop the run. Now, as they got healthy, especially last week against McCaffrey, and with Ernest Jones now at middle linebacker, what did you see McCaffrey do? Get stuffed.
Yep.
Right?
Did not
the
go
run
nowhere.
defense looks totally different. So do I think they can stop the Cardinal run game? I think they can. And it's going to be the most critical point of this whole game, in my opinion. Because if they can stop the run game, now you're putting it on Kyler's back. And I'm sorry. That secondary against Kyler is not going to be good for Kyler.
Is it Legion of Boom worthy? Or
that secondary, they're not Legion of Boom at this point.
Okay.
It's hard to say anyone could ever be Legion of Boom. But it's a very good secondary. We have 2 Pro Bowl corners. You got a Pro Bowl safety. You got Jones in the middle who can cover also against the pass. Trice Knight, who's all Trevor, whatever his name is, Knight, the new rookie linebacker who's looking really good as well. Derek Hall on the other side. The defensive front's looking good. They're going to put pressure on Kyler. They're going to get to him. They get to everybody. They're going to get to Kyler. So it's a key for the Cardinals. The key to winning this game for them is run. If they can run effectively, they have a great shot at winning this game. Now, when you go to the other side of the ball, Seahawks have their right tackles back. Abraham Lucas, he played part of the game last week, was phenomenal. New center who played a phenomenal game. Those guys are back this week. Abe Lucas is in better shape. He'll stay in the whole game. They're actually giving Geno time to do stuff. For the first time this year, Geno actually has some time.
That's true.
That's key for Seattle. If you give Geno time with the weapons, because DK came back last week, he still was a little sluggish. He'll be better this week. Smith and Jigma is just turning into the stud we thought he'd be. And Tyler Lockett is just being Tyler Lockett. He's there when you need him. K9 has to be able to run. If K9 can run against the Cardinal up front 7, which I think he can, and Geno gets the time he does to throw the ball, this could be a very good game for Seattle. With all that said, I still think this is a close game. This is a pick'em. It really, and Vegas is showing you that.
Vegas is, yes.
This is a pick'em game. These teams are pretty evenly matched, but I think Seattle and Geno can pick apart the defense of Arizona more than they can pick us apart.
Of the who?
The defense of Arizona.
Of the Arizona?
Of Arizona, yes.
Okay, got it.
Put some respect on the Arizona Cardinals name. Right?
That's right.
With that said, I think Seattle wins this game. I think it's a close game. This could be a 1-point game, but the last time they played in January, it was 21-20 Seattle. It's going to be that kind of game.
Yep.
But Seattle will win this game, and they will be tied for first place after this week because of other reasons too. But this is a win for Seattle, and then we'll see what happens when they come back here in 2 weeks. Because then they have the Jets next week, and they come right back to play in Arizona, which hopefully we'll all go to. So we'll see how
that'd be nice.
But I'm taking Seattle. I think they win this game. You guys are taking Arizona. I think you both can go. You know where?
Where can we go?
Hell!
Where can we go, Ralph? Ralphie.
Anyway,
yeah.
So that's my pick, and I think you're both wrong. Any comments?
I don't see a blowout. I do see a pick 'em. Yeah. I think we're in agreement there. But I think Cardinals win.
Okay,
yeah, I think it's going to be. Sorry, man. I love you, but I do
think that there's a chance, though, that it could go both ways. I think they both steal a game on the road, and then we'll find out where the division lies later in the season. But for right now, the Cardinals just feel like they're in too much momentum. They have too much injury health going in their favor. I think that for right now, the Cardinals are the better team. Could even switch in 2 weeks.
You think they're the better team? I just don't see it. Especially as far as talent. I mean, they're not the better team.
I would arguably disagree. I think that the Seattle Seahawks are schemed very well. They have a lot of fight in them. I think that that's certainly undeniable. But the Arizona Cardinals right now, especially coming off of a bye, it's just pairing with the momentum, pairing with the ability that you have as the Seattle Seahawks. Honestly, the Seattle Seahawks, maybe not the Super Bowl, but it was their conference championship last week. I mean, exercising those demons on the road, Geno Smith getting all the love, putting the baby to sleep, like Steph usually does and celebrates in San Francisco. I think that last week was a very big moment for Seattle Seahawks. The Cardinals blowing out the Jets, that's not a big moment. That was surprising, but that wasn't like they're a big, stupendous moment. Going into a bye, I think that they can still carry a lot of that good progression that they got from that win and just carry it into this week and maybe the tail changes in 2 weeks. But for right now, the Cardinals, to me, are just the better team.
So I'm going to pick on something you said about the Cardinals-Jets game. See, that's the sign of a team that's starting to find consistency. It's so difficult to beat the teams that you're supposed to.
Yes.
I know that sounds stupid, right? But we all evaluate these games going into every week, and we see a matchup and we go, "Oh, this team should absolutely win." And there's so many times where they don't, and to me, that's the sign of a shaky team. But I feel like that was the fact that the Cardinals beat the Jets the way they did isn't necessarily a commentary on the Jets per se, right? Like, yeah, it is to a certain degree. But ultimately, good teams, to me, the best teams are the ones that can beat the opponents they're supposed to. They didn't get ahead of themselves. They didn't look past the schedule or past that team. They didn't phone it in. It's like, oh, we're just playing the Jets. No, that was convincing. Kind of like what the Lions did last week. It's very similar tonight.
Probably one of the most astute things you've ever said.
Compared to what?
A lot.
Oh boy.
Top 3 for sure.
Top 3.
Okay, you're welcome.
We're up against the break. When we come back, we've got 5 other games to look at before the top of the hour, and then we got the King joining us at the top of the hour to give you his fantasy advice, and I'm sure he's going to get some more Yoda jokes. We'll see.
Woohoo!
So it's the Weekend Warriors Football Sunday right here on 1580 The Fanatic.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Live and local.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to HIMSS.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to HIMSS.com/joy.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
The GCU men's basketball squad is coming off their winningest season in 35 years, their third trip to the NCAA tournament in 4 years, and their first ever NCAA tournament victory. Returning 4 of their 5 starters in Ray Harrison, Colin Moore, Duke Brennan, and reigning WAC Player of the Year Tyon Grant Foster, the Lopes look to defend their WAC titles and make a run to the Sweet 16. With a non-conference slate including Stanford, Georgia, and crosstown rival Arizona State, you won't want to miss a moment of the action. So join me, Michael Potter, and Lopes insider Paul Coro all season long right here on the home of the Lopes, 1580 The Fanatic. Lopes up.
It's fall football season, and Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is doubling down, now with 2 Valley locations. When it comes to Asian cuisine, no one does it better and more authentic than Kasai, where talented Teppan chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse isn't just dinner, it's dinnertainment. A memorable dining experience where a delicious 7-course meal is prepared right at your table with flair. It's a perfect choice for celebrations, date nights, or a night on the town. Choose from over 30 different items and combinations of teppanyaki, Asian fusion, and innovative sushi. Happy Hour is always on fire and offered daily with specials on their Asian-inspired comfort food like Korean steak tacos, Mongolian barbecue ribs, and signature Wagyu beef sliders. Always a memorable dinner, or catch the game and a bite at the bar. At Kasai, now with 2 locations, Scottsdale Road in Thunderbird and in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppan.com, that's Kasai Teppan.com, or search Kasai on your mobile phone.
1580 The Fanatic and at 1580thefanatic.com.
Your home for sports.
You're live.
The Weekend Warriors on 1580 The Fanatic.
I was a beat early on that symbol. Hey, if you're listening to the show, get involved. Join us. Tell us what's going on. Say hi if you're watching the game somewhere. Who your favorite team is this week. Text us on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, and hit up the comments section on either X, YouTube, or Facebook, because we're streaming live.
All right, and get ready for Scott the King at the top of the hour.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Scott the King.
All right, so let's get right into this. When I look at picks and where we're at, let me pull that up real quick.
Oh, this is not going to be good for me. I had a horrible week last week.
Oh, last week was delicious. Go ahead, take your time, pull up the stats, get through the full analysis.
Lather yourself in them.
I don't think it was delicious for you.
It was delicious for you.
By my count, I had a 5-1 week. Now, if you misscored, that is forgivable, Ralph.
That's probably.
But I could be wrong.
He's not good at maths.
I'm not good.
I might have the wrong one up. So
he may have. Well, he's picking against the Arizona.
So let me see here.
So,
I had you taking Green Bay last week.
Yes, that is correct.
Had you taken Denver?
That is correct.
San Francisco?
That is correct.
Pittsburgh?
Yes, that is correct.
Cleveland, or was I wrong there?
Who did Cleveland play? That's what I have to... I think I did take Cleveland. Okay, so maybe I'm wrong.
And then Kansas City.
Okay, so I don't know why we got to go into the stats and go into the full reason of why things are...
So Phil was 3-3 last week.
Okay.
But you know what? You beat Neil.
I did beat Neil.
Yeah,
Neil was 2-4.
Yeah, I was 2-4, yeah.
But Ralph was 4-2. So when we look at the standings for the year, Phil is 32-35. He's almost at that 500 clip.
Oh, I've been working on it.
Ralph is 39-28. And Neil is 40-27. I'm 1 game behind.
A 1-game lead heading into week 12.
Meet up the gap. All right, so let's look at the Bronco game against the Raiders. So Broncos 6-5 against the 2-8 Raiders. This game is over in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. Broncos I have as a 6-point favorite.
Currently 5.5.
Okay, so come down a tiny bit. Total of 41.5. Let's see here. Bo Nix, we've been talking about Bo Nix, and people have been giving me a bunch of credit about him, but I'm telling you, Bo Nix is as good, if not better, than anybody out there right now on the rookie side.
Including Caleb Williams?
He looks better than Caleb Williams.
Oh, yeah. Look, he came out as a far more finished and polished product than any other quarterback.
Yeah,
6 years
including
in the
Caleb Williams.
Including Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
So and plus he goes to one of the most offensively gifted minds of our time, NFL-wise, Sean Payton. If you don't believe that, he'll tell you himself. But yeah,
I think Offensive Player of the Week last week.
It was indeed. Look, I'm being 100% serious and genuine. I'm probably pulling a Neil here, but this does feel like the Raiders. Like trap game for the Broncos. This does feel like the Broncos are starting to feel themselves a little bit, and the Broncos have surpassed expectations. But they are still going to have a give up game. Like they are still they're not like a juggernaut. So I'm thinking that this is the Raiders get right game, and this is not my usual pick against the Broncos to make them strategically better and have an emotional win either way. This is a genuine. I think that the Raiders are primed for an upset here. I'm picking the Raiders, and I'm hoping I'm wrong.
Wow. Oh, okay. Wow. All right.
This is his weird convoluted strategy that he has that I completely copy every time I can. So I listen, Phil. You know that in the short time that we've interacted, I feel like you're close to being a brother to me. So my Italian brother that my big brother Ralph never told me about because he was keeping him from me. But
it's because Mom cheated.
Well, that's true. Yeah. You're the half brother I didn't know I had, which that's a story behind that. But I understand your reasoning for this, and I've made those kind of picks before, so I know completely where you're at. I just don't think that's the case here. I have a hard time believing in this team. They're just inconsistent, right? And that's part of the problem. You don't know which Raiders team is going to show up. Is Jim Plunkett going to roll out with Marcus Allen in the backfield, or is this going to be the team we have today, right? So I don't know. Unless Antonio Pierce himself decides to suit up or do whatever, I just, even though it's in Vegas, okay, which, it's funny. Side note here real quick. We don't hear about the Vegas flu anymore because that was a big thing whenever teams would go to Vegas to play or whatever. There's always the Vegas flu because they'd go out and party the night before. You don't hear about that much.
Because they're that bad.
Well, it's probably because the stadium's at the end of the strip where there's nothing going on. Now there's a big vacant field where there's going to be a baseball stadium maybe
Excalibur,
someday.
New York, right there.
Excalibur, baby. Oh yeah, that was some good times 30 years ago. So I think momentum wise, I think the Broncos are on a roll. I think they're going to keep going. I like your team this week, Phil. I think the Broncos win.
Okay. Before I go to my pick, I go to the text line. This is from number one Rattlers fan. Says, "Hey Ralph, I listen often, but this is my first time texting him on a regular Monday through Friday. Good luck this weekend with all your wagers. I can't pick the NFL for crap, so I do a super teaser. Have you ever heard of that? Yeah, I've heard of super teasers where you get a lot of extra points on them, but the payout's a lot less. I lived in Vegas, I used to play super teasers a lot actually.
So I saw a super teaser once. It was right next to the Rough and Ready and the studded condom. Oh
no,
this isn't condoms in the bathroom.
Oh my god,
different teaser.
Oh man.
Hey, number one Rattlers fan. Hey, thanks for texting in. Keep texting in, man. Be part of the show. Appreciate you listening.
Appreciate it.
All right, so I looked at this and I'm like, the Raiders have won 8 of the last 9 meetings in this series.
I'm telling you, man.
8 of 9. This is your Achilles heel. This is your kryptonite.
They just undersell them to the team.
They do, but this year the Broncos did win. I mean, they beat them 34-18 in Denver. If you just look at this game for what it is, the Broncos are playing really good ball. Their quarterback's playing really well. They've got it coming together. The Raiders are just horrible. They don't know what the heck they're doing. They're poorly coached. They don't have a quarterback. They have a good defense.
Whoa. Gardner Minshew. Come on, man.
They don't have a
Gardner
good quarterback.
Gummies.
They don't have a good quarterback. Their defense is on the field too much. So everything in this game says you take Denver. I mean, it just does. But I'm smarter than that, and I look at history, and I know this series, and I've seen so many seasons where Denver's been the way better team, and the Raiders have sucked, and they win. I'm going with the Raiders too. I think this is an upset. This is the upset of the day.
I agree.
The Raiders are going to win this game. And it's not a logical pick. It makes no sense. But what makes sense in the NFL this year? Nothing.
Not much.
But I look at history, and the history is consistent in this series.
Also, I think Vegas is on our side here, Ralph. If you look at the earlier matchup when the Raiders had to travel to Bronco country, that line was like -5 for the Broncos then. You're telling me that when you get 3 points advantage for being at home, you're telling me that now the Broncos are an 8.5 point favorite on the road in a divisional game?
Right.
I think this is Vegas saying, yeah, of course, you're getting 6 points here, guys.
Yep.
Come on, bet the Broncos, of course, are going to beat them. I think everything in the world is outside of what you actually see on the field. And maybe honestly, you know who else has not had a game yet? Is like the weird Max Crosby 5-sack game.
Yeah,
that could
true.
honestly be here.
That's true.
So many traps are laid out here. I think the Broncos have no reason to start feeling themselves, and I think that they are. I think that they are a 6-5 team coming out of here will be 6-6, and they'll still be within the playoff reach. So I think that they have a game to give. This is the game to give, and maybe it's Brock Bowers coming out party. Who knows?
All right, let's go to the next game. We've got the 5-5 49ers set to face the 7-3 Green Bay Packers over in Lambeau.
Brock Purdy-less 49ers.
But Purdy is out with, he has a noticeable swelling or lump or something in his shoulder. They did an MRI on it. They said they're not too worried about it. They said their words were, it's not a franchise-altering ailment. That's interesting to me.
That is very interesting.
I wonder how
phrasing.
long Purdy is going to be out. I think this is more than a 1 week out. The Niners are coming off that bad loss to the Seahawks. The Packers are coming off a narrow victory against the Bears that they should have lost. It was a great game, though. So it's at Lambeau. You have the weather conditions. Is it going to snow today, Neil? I heard there might be some snow.
There's always a chance it's going to
There's
snow.
a chance.
It's not going to be like Thursday night, but yeah, it'll snow.
I'm going to be real quick on this. I'll give Neil all my time.
Aw.
But I don't think that the Niners have enough to do anything in this game, as far as especially against the Packers defense. I think the Packers are going to Jordan Love's going to look good this game. It's a great situation for the Packers and their fans to take on a team that is really hurting, and I'm going to take the Packers in this game.
Phil, you're next because I get to go last.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick Bosa is also out on here, and Trent Williams is questionable. I think I'm going to hinge a lot of this on Trent Williams, actually. But if Trent Williams comes back, I think that this game comes down to and boils down to how much do you believe in Brock Purdy? And for me, I'm still of the belief that he's just the best game manager that they've had, and I think that their backup quarterback, Brandon Allen. Thank you. I was about to go Brandon Williams, but Trent Williams was in my mind. Anyways, Brandon Allen. I think he's more of the same, and if they have, even without Nick Bosa, I think that having a full week to prepare for that misgiving, as opposed to having to play it mid-game as they did with the Seattle Seahawks. I guess ultimately, again, it boils down to, do you believe in Brock Purdy? I'm not as big of a believer, so I don't think it's as big of a drop-off. I'm going to go with the 49ers, and I don't feel great about it.
Well, at least you're honest about it. So here's how I look at this. First of all, as you so called me out thoroughly for this, I picked against my Packers last week, and I paid the price. So obviously I'm learning a lesson here. However, what's the line currently? I have it at -6 for the Packers.
-5.5, so same difference.
It dropped half, right. So, I mean, let's be honest. No Purdy, no Bosa, no Ward, no Cowing, no Bethune, no Givens. Trent Williams is questionable. Feliciano at guard center is questionable. And we know that Kittle's still hurt, right? With all of that going against you, the only reason that I might pick the Niners is because what I tried to say last week, which was that the Packers historically have this weird thing where they struggle against brand new starting quarterbacks against them. And I go back decades ago to the Charlie Batch incident, where Charlie Batch starts his first start was against the Packers, and he beat the tires off of them, right? So I think there's always that possibility that Brandon Allen's going to suddenly be great. I just think they have too many injuries to overcome. I think the Packers win this one handily, and they get revenge for last year's playoff elimination.
Neil, one more thing. Also, when you go historical, this reminds me, the 49ers actually, as of recently, own this matchup. Does that at all give you any hesitation there, too, that maybe it's stylistically a Kyle Shanahan owns Matt LaFleur type of thing?
That could be, and I think that's legitimate. However, I just think there's too many injuries to overcome. Plus, too, the real key, the reason why the Niners are not going to win is because they refuse to start the Pastronaut, Josh Dobbs, because we all know you give this guy 2 weeks without the playbook and he will dominate. Once he learns the plays, forget it, it's over.
Do we all know that?
Well, and here's the thing, too. If you need Josh Dobbs to hang a picture in your house, like the Progressive commercial, he's your guy.
All right, let's move on. We don't got much time here until we get to the top of the hour. Real quick, Titans 2-8, Texans 7-4. This game's over in Houston. Houston I have listed as an 8-point favorite.
7.5.
7.5, 40.5 total. Who do you got, Phil?
I got Titans.
Yeah, I mean, how do you not, right?
Yeah.
I've got the Titans, too. I don't see how they don't win this game.
Texans had the closest blowout win I've ever seen in my life. If you actually watched that game on Monday.
34-10 game?
Yeah, it was like the Texans were not pulling away. The Cowboys, who still looked pathetic, were keeping it close. I got the Titans in this one, and I feel actually better about that than a lot of other games.
I agree. I'm with the Titans as well. I I'm not the Titans. You said the Titans?
I said the Titans.
Both of you said the Titans. I'm like, what's going on here?
Oh, I'm sorry. I just got destroyed.
I'm watching this. Oh, you picked. Oh, the Titans are an easy win at +8 or +7.5.
Hey, Ralph, make sure you note it down. You also said Titans, so now we're both
I've
locked. We are brothers, arm in arm.
I've had 2 cups of coffee. That's
You're
why
a
I'm
disowned
smarter.
brother. You're very much disowned. I'm taking Houston. I don't see the Titans.
That's
have a
hilarious.
chance
Houston,
in this game.
yeah, Houston all the way. Agreed.
Let's go Titans.
I almost got snowed. Oh my God.
I saw that. I was wondering. I was like, "There's no way Ralph had the cojones, had the gonads, dare I say?"
No, the gonads are natted. I'm not going.
Gonads are
They're
natted.
denatted. All right. 7-4 Ravens against the 7-3 Chargers. This is a really good matchup over at SoFi.
The Harbaugh Bowl
on Monday.
Yeah, this is the Monday night game. You got the Ravens I got them at a -2.5.
Correct.
And a total of 51. Neil,
I think that this is the game where little brother defeats big brother. I think Jim wins. I think this is his debutante ball. I think this is the statement to the league that the Chargers are for real, even though I think most people think they are for real given how they performed. I think this is their quinceañera. I can't even pronounce it. God, I'm so sorry, everybody. Quinceañera.
Stop showing your whiteness.
Quinceañera. Wow.
Quinceañera. I'm horrible.
When you have your quinceañera at a tortilla.
Quinceañera. Thank you. Quinceañera. That's not good
That was
today.
good.
My quinceañera, yeah, it's going to be the Chargers. I think they win. It's a close game, but I think he's going to win the battle of the brothers.
I as well am going with the Chargers. I like the Chargers in this game because 2 reasons. A really good Charger defense and a really bad Ravens defense. So I'm taking the Chargers.
Wow, I'll be the favorite. Let's go Ravens.
Let's talk about this last game. You want to talk about it after Scott the King?
Yeah, we can quickly talk about it after Scott the King.
All right.
I mean, let's just do it.
Yeah, let's do it because I want to talk about the quarterback situation.
Okay, so next up, we've got Scott the King joining us. So, hey, if you got any fantasy football questions, just anything that you want to know about fantasy, you got to bring them to Scott. He is the king, and we'll get him on here in a second. So, good first hour. Join us again for the second hour. Where are we at?
20.
So we're at 20.
20 seconds, huh?
Final thing I'm going to say.
What do you think? What are you going to say?
Hawks are going to win. Go Hawks. Go Hawks. And go
10.
Hawks.
Red Sea Rising.
It's Weekend Warriors. Join us for hour 2 on 1580. The Fanatic.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater,
He picked the
shootout,
Titans. You better write
walk-off,
that down,
and
Ralph.
absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona.
Phil.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration
Ravens, that's
or
the easiest
dry
one of the
AMD,
week.
you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy, or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
Chargers struggled with the Bengals. Come on.
Bengals offense
is
is
proven
good.
to slow GA progression.
Shiesty is beautiful.
Izervay or avastin-captid Pagel is a prescription eye injection
As a
used to
beautiful
treat
man, I
GA.
feel like you
Don't
can
take it if you
appreciate
have an
the beauty of
infection
Joe
or
Burrow.
active swelling in or around your eye.
Man, there's
Izervay
not
can
a more
cause eye
beautiful loser
infection,
in the
retinal
world.
detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision
You know,
may
it
be
turns me
impaired
on.
after an
Wet
eye
AMD.
injection or exam.
That's what turns me
Don't
on.
delay. Ask your doctor
stupid
about
commercial.
Izervay today. Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Estella's Pharma.
Nothing can prepare you for the epic return of Yellowstone. Sundays at 8, only on Paramount Network. And Philo's here to take you on the ultimate journey back to the Dutton Ranch. That's right, because Philo's the most affordable way to watch new episodes of Yellowstone live. If that's not enough, Philo's also got a whole world of entertainment under one
gonna blow it
roof,
on
bringing
both
you
sides.
the best way to watch over 70 top-rated channels, including Paramount Network, AMC, Discovery, History Channel, and more. All for just $28 a month. With Philo, you can watch TV and on-demand TV anytime, anywhere, on up to 3 devices at once. So if your family's anything like the Duttons, you've got one less thing to fight about. You can also save the shows you love, like Yellowstone, and watch them for up to a year. So what are you waiting for? Start your free trial today by going to Philo.tv. That's PHILO.tv to start saving more on the TV you just can't afford to miss. And don't miss the epic return of Yellowstone Sundays at 8, only on Paramount Network.
The GCU men's basketball squad is coming off their winningest season in 35 years, their third trip to the NCAA tournament in 4 years, and their first ever NCAA tournament victory. Returning 4 of their 5 starters in Ray Harrison, Colin Moore, Duke Brennan, and reigning WAC Player of the Year Tyon Grant Foster, the Lopes look to defend their WAC titles and make a run to the Sweet 16. With a non-conference slate including Stanford, Georgia, and crosstown rival Arizona State, you won't want to miss a moment of the action. So join me, Michael Potter, and Lopes insider Paul Coro all season long right here on the home of the Lopes, 1580 The Fanatic. Lopes up.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Porte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 Euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display, plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more, all at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, P-O-R-T-E. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's the weekend, Warriors! Warriors! Come to play! Yeah! Here we go!
Relax.
Welcome back to Hour 2, everybody. I'm Ralph Romano, alongside my partner in crime, the legend Neil Lynch, alongside the legendary Phil Amorine in the control room, and this is Weekend Warriors Football Sunday, week number
12.
I give you 12. 12. I give him one word in the whole opening.
Couldn't even do it.
Right.
Hey, listen, we got Scott the King on. So if you've got some last-minute fantasy football questions, text us on the Fanatic text line, 888-368-1580, or hit us up on the social medias, X, YouTube, and Facebook.
All right. So it is time. Trumpets, please.
Trumpets, please, sir.
Hey.
Where's the trumpets? There we go.
There's my trumpets. We got Scott Engel of Rotorballer.com and Seahawks.com. He also writes for The Athletic. He's the inaugural member of the Fantasy Sports Writer Association Hall of Fame. He's all over Sirius X. You can find him anywhere on the socials as Scott E. the King. And he is the #1 friend of this show from the East Coast. Welcome, Scott.
Welcome, Sirius X. Is this like an adult version of satellite radio?
Sirius and X.
Sirius X.
I don't know what you do in your spare time, Scott. I'm not there, so I can't monitor you.
I don't have any spare time, during this part of the season. I have no life.
All right, so that's why you have Sirius X. Sunday night. Sunday night at 11:25.
How about no Sirius X?
Wow.
Yeah. She just wanted to be friends. All right. So, how's it going, Scott?
I'm doing okay. An early happy Thanksgiving to you guys.
Well, thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
I'm going to start right off, Scott. So, how you feeling about the Seahawk Cardinal, the big game this week out in the West Coast?
By the way, Ralph and I were just exchanging virtual high fives after last week.
Yes, we were.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that they have a game of this magnitude. In a way, but playing at home with McDonald fine-tuning things after the week off, they have a real good shot. The Cardinals are hot. They've won 4 in a row, so this is a game going to be a hard game to call. I'll take the over, but I don't know which way to go on the spread. It's Seahawks -1 when it started out as Cardinals minus 0.5. And by the way, next week I will be at Seahawks Jets at MetLife Stadium.
Look at that.
And you're going to do a
live from the press box.
Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah.
You've been to a couple of those games over the years. Do the Seahawks represent well in MetLife usually, or?
They won a Super Bowl.
The fans travel very, very well. In fact, I went in 2016 when they were playing the Jets, and they were blowing the Jets out, and it sounded like Lumen Field northeast during the fourth quarter.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well,
when you see people wearing Dean Wells jerseys, Ralph, you know they're loyal fans.
Wow.
Oh, that's funny.
That is true. That is a grab in the old memory bag. Well, Scott, I think I can put it plainly that this week sucks for fantasy. 6 teams with 5 of the best scoring options. It's incredible that they can go earlier in the season with no buys, but 6 team on buys. Man, it makes it hard. We are scraping the bottom of the barrel for fantasy options here, but that does mean that we need your help more than ever because with a bunch of replacements, you never know who applies to what. So let's get to it. Brock Purdy, the big news this week, out with possibly not career-threatening shoulder soreness. Weird. But Brandon Allen is in. Specifically speaking from the quarterback position, he still has a lot of weapons available to him. Is Brandon Allen somebody that you can stream this week, or are you hoping to stay away?
You started off with comedy today. That's very good. Streaming Brandon Allen? Are you in like a 22-team league or something? Why would you stream Brandon Allen? And how is this injury, it's soreness, career threatening?
Yeah, that's what Ralph reported earlier.
Come on, stop messing with me. Come on.
Okay, so stay away from
Brandon Allen. You use him if you're desperate. I actually am in one league because I have Josh Allen on a bye and that Purdy is the backup and he's out. You know, he's at least got. If you're playing in a super flex league, I had this question on my X/Twitter space this morning. You can use Brandon Allen in a super flex spot. You know, don't play a wide receiver or running back over him in a super flex spot because the quarterbacks will still often outscore the players from other positions. And if anybody can get anything out of a backup quarterback, it's Kyle Shanahan, and he's still got weaponry.
Justin Herbert has been both in and out of the top 5 performances of fantasy. Top 10 even at some points in this, but it's been frustratingly inconsistent. He has a great matchup against Baltimore on Monday. Is Justin somebody that if you have a top-tier quarterback, maybe you can bench them for the matchup that Justin Herbert is getting?
Yeah, because he's been playing really well. He's in the MVP conversation, and Baltimore has the worst pass defense in the NFL. I have him ranked as my number 5 quarterback on rotoballer.com this morning.
Interesting. Okay, so Sam Darnold is somebody that has had very high highs, but as of recently really came back down to earth, even with outstanding receiving options, specifically in Justin Jefferson. Against a stout Chicago defense, is that a matchup that scares you if you were relying on Sam Darnold and traded away a starter, or can you look for other options, maybe Brandon Allen?
I wouldn't play Brandon Allen over him. The Pro Football Focus notes, though, the Chicago defense is very bad against play-action quarterbacks. He's my number 17 ranked quarterback. It's you don't want to be starting Darnold, though, unless you play in a super flex league.
Let's go for one of the quarterbacks that I think a lot of people picked up off of waiver wires because many had dropped him. Anthony Richardson had a fantastic game last week, fantasy-wise, and really real-wise as well, with 28 points usually across the board. But this week faces a much stouter challenge in the Detroit defense, especially as they blow you out. Is that a quarterback that you can look for as a buy replacement, or are you out of Anthony Richardson until further notice?
I'm not out of him. I'm just out of him on this matchup. The Lions are like top 6 in fantasy points allowed to quarterbacks, and they're very, very good in the red zone. So Richardson he's ranked 15th this week, but he'll bounce back in a better matchup, I think.
I'm curious because Jaden Daniels, to have even asked a question about him earlier in the season, would have felt ridiculous, but his rushing totals have gone down and down and down as that rib injury has afflicted him for some time. Now, with the juicy matchup with the Dallas Cowboys defense, is this a player that we can still start with no second thought, or are we now having to compare and see if we have a better matchup elsewhere in our starting lineup?
I don't think you do. She's against the Dallas Cowboys. He'll bounce back from an off game.
Okay, so let's transition over to the running backs. And again, with 6 teams on bye, it's kind of hard to find running backs, let alone replacement running backs. However, let's go back to the Colts against the Detroit defense. Is Jonathan Taylor still the only piece of the Indianapolis Colts offense that you can start without fear, or is this the first defense that you're kind of thinking about possibly starting somebody else?
I still start Josh Downs. He's got a really good matchup in the slot against Detroit. You know, you can bake them in the slot. And in a lot of cases, you don't bench Jonathan Taylor because they'll try to go to him to control the clock as much as they can and even throw them out of the backfield when they're behind. But I'm not playing Michael Pittman. Alec Pierce does have some upside if you're going deeper, though, because Anthony Richardson does like to throw downfield.
Ralph has attributed the run offense for the Cardinals to be the key to the game in his mind of the Cardinals at Seahawks. James Conner is, of course, the tip of that spear. Do you think James Conner is in line for a good game, or is he somebody that you should have lowered expectations for coming into the Lumen Field?
I don't think there's any reason to have lowered expectations. Big game, and Leonard Williams might be out for the Seahawks too at defensive tackle. That would make a big difference.
Kareem Hunt has one more week as RB number 1 in Kansas City. Do you start him with no regrets whatsoever in Carolina, or is he somebody that you would be looking for other running back options?
I'm sorry, you broke up. Who was that?
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt is a must-start against the Carolina Panthers this week. If you're doing player props, he might get 2 touchdowns.
Oh, wow. Okay. Lock that one in. Wow. Lock that one in. Let's go to the other side of the field on the other opposite offense. We see possibly the return of a running back. Does that at all inhibit Chuba Hubbard's running back value, as he has been just far and away, like for me, the biggest surprise running back-wise in the value that he's brought from a Carolina offense that has been much maligned outside of him?
Yeah, it's a tough-looking matchup this week against the Kansas City Chiefs, but the Chiefs are not a shutdown unit against the run, and I really feel like Carolina's won 2 in a row. They're going to come to play. I still have Chuba Hubbard ranked as a top 25 running back for this week.
Tony Pollard has been an RB1 earlier in the season, but has been inconsistent in games since then. He has an interesting matchup with the Houston Texans here. Is he somebody that you can start in maybe a second RB or maybe even a flex and not think about it too much? Or are you starting to look at other options to see how you can best set up your lineup?
I think I have Pollard ranked in my top 24. There's one thing you can do against Houston, it's run. So I don't expect a lot of upside, but he'll have a decent day.
I know how much you hate the word committee, but I think it actually applies in Denver, King. Javonte Williams, Estime, and even the third running back have all seen touches. Can you break it down? Is this the week that you feel confident in telling the people that you can either start Javonte Williams with no regrets, or maybe even Estime, or even option number C over there?
Yeah, I can't have any confidence in that because Sean Payton has burned fantasy players throughout his career, and he's always going to ride the hot hand, so you're taking a risk using any Denver running back.
Tyrone Tracy, I would attribute to that little piece of candy you find that's still wrapped after Halloween on the floor the next day, where it's just something you really you enjoy.
Dude. We're getting really weird insight into your psyche, bud.
Absolutely. So you find it's a lost candy that you found, and you can eat with no thing. But Tampa Bay is pretty good against the rush. Is he somebody that you would look to bench this week, or are you still starting him and eating that candy?
Yeah, I think the Giants are actually going to come to play here. Like Tampa Bay is very good against the run, especially with Vita Vea at defensive tackle. But, everybody on the outside, all these Giant fans, I want them to lose. I want them to tank. You don't tank in the NFL. It's not the NBA. Load management, tanking, etc. Because the NFL is too violent of a game, number one. You can't tank. Number two, players and coaches never want to tank. The Giants have had a very controversial, messy week. They're going to come out of the bye. They're going to play hard. I think Tyrone Tracy has a pretty good game. You keep him in your lineup.
Last one, and I feel only obligated because of how much the buys can affect people. If somebody's looking and needs to fill in their RB2 spot with somebody from the Raiders, what's the running back from the Raiders that you're looking to start if you need that spot, King?
Hopefully, Marcus Allen comes out of retirement.
Jeez.
I don't want to start either one of the Raider running backs going against Denver, but some people are desperate. Amir Abdullah may get more touches, but Dylan Lobby has more upside. But yeah, that's a really ugly situation.
If we see Devon,
you don't want to use Raiders.
Yeah, no.
Look, Raider fans, I give them a lot of respect for being loyal because they've had one good team in 40 years. But this silver and black thing, I mean, they haven't been tough in 40 years. Wow. It's like the fans are scarier than the team.
That's true.
Well, I think that's true, actually.
He's right.
Yeah, the stands have more fight than the team right now. Let's see. If we go and we transition over to the wide receiving portion, Terry McLaurin is somebody that had started out the season shaky, met and created a chemistry with Jaden Daniels, but as of recently has kind of come down on the tier of must-start wide receivers. And a good matchup, I think, against Dallas. Is he somebody that you feel confident starting again, or are you going to see if you can find another wide receiver this week?
No, and again, it all depends on who else you have. But he's my number 8 ranked wide receiver on rotoballer.com this morning. Big bounce back spot against the Cowboys. Talk about loyal fans who have suffered. Cowboy fans, they've suffered for a long time. People have loved to beat up on them for like 25 plus years because they still talk trash. But they're a very loyal bunch. Despite all they suffer. But when you debate with a Cowboys fan, they say, "Yeah, that team makes more money than any other in the NFL." Like, I've lost the debate.
A big name in a New Jersey. DeAndre Hopkins made a big impact in Tampa Bay a couple weeks ago, but since then has kind of sputtered. Is this a week that you're looking in what is perceivably a good matchup against Carolina?
DeAndre Hopkins, you said?
Yeah,
sorry?
DeAndre Hopkins, yeah.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins, nice bounce-back spot for him against a very shaky defense. He's a must-start wide receiver 3 this week.
Speaking of a wide receiver 3 who you might have a decision on, Ladd McConkey is very interesting in that he didn't pay dividends at first, but now you can kind of see the rapport building between him and Justin Herbert. Is Ladd McConkey somebody that you're looking to start in matchups this week, King, in a very good matchup?
If it wasn't for a shoulder injury, yes. We still don't know if he's going to play Monday night. It might go down to game time. My best advice is do one of two things if you have Ladd McConkey. If you have another quality starter like a DeAndre Hopkins that you use today, don't risk it. I always say when you're in doubt, you go with the healthy player. Otherwise, you can pick up Josh Palmer, and if McConkey doesn't play, then you can use Palmer.
I've actually seen in a couple leagues, especially in 2 wide receiver leagues, King, Jalen Waddle has been dropped. Is he somebody in a New England matchup that you would actually usually look for? Is he somebody that you can play this week? I don't even care if starting. Just is he somebody that can play in a third flex spot? My goodness.
No, not really. But if you have 3 flex spots, that's an unusual league.
That is an
unusual. Do you even roster him anymore? That's the question. And the Patriots play a lot of man coverage. And according to Pro Football Focus, he's not very good against man coverage. Jonnu Smith is actually becoming their number 2 pass catcher.
Yeah, it's so odd. Look, King, Brandon Allen, we've talked about him enough, but I am curious, specifically for the case of Juwan Jennings' fantasy value today. Juwan Jennings has been nothing short of stellar whenever a top, Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuel have been out for the 49ers. But now, of course, with a quarterback change, is he somebody that you look forward to starting again, or now with a new quarterback, you'll try and shuffle around and see if another wide receiver works for you?
I wouldn't say look forward to starting him. I've gotten some really out there questions about guys to sit this morning for Juwan Jennings. But somebody asked me, Little Jordan Humphrey or Juwan Jennings. I said, I think you're overreacting. It's not like the backup quarterbacks can complete 2 passes. And if anybody can get anything out of a backup quarterback, it's Kyle Shanahan. Plus, on top of it, on Pro Football Focus this week, Jawan Jennings has the highest rated wide receiver cornerback matchup of any player in the NFL.
Wow, that's big. Okay, so you feel very confident. Good to know.
Yeah, not very. I'm saying kind of. Not very. It's,
hold on.
Not very, but I'm saying, I wouldn't bench him for, say,
Christian
Sterling
Watson?
Shepard.
Okay. So I guess my one of my last questions here for the wide receivers is the bigger news is that Mike Evans is pretty much set to return today, looking like he will. Is he somebody that you start again with no worry, no question, or are you maybe going to wait a week to see what the production is like?
The team has cleared him to play with no reports of a pitch count, so I clear him to play. In fact, I just saw a video of him signing autographs for fans, and he looked healthy doing it.
Yes, good.
So Scott, we're up against the break, but I have to ask for your question. You have to answer this. Forget about the thousands of people listening on Phoenix Radio, people online. Who's your pick?
Just between us.
It's just between me and you. No one else is here. What's your prediction for today's Seahawk and Cardinal game?
Prediction? Pain. For the Cardinals. Seahawks win by a field goal.
There we go.
Wow.
This is just between me and you. Don't worry about it. No one on the radio will hear this. So
no,
I'm right with you too.
Don't share this.
No, I will not share this. So Scott, thank you so much for joining us. Again, everybody, this is Scott Engel of Rotorball.com and Seahawks.com. Also writes for The Athletic and is an inaugural member of the Fantasy Football Sports Writers Association Hall of Fame. You can now catch his new show Sunday nights, 11:48, After Dark with Scott King.
After Dark.
Is
that like Sirius X? Sirius X.
No, I'm on 6 to 7 a.m.
Come on, I'm giving you an After Dark show, Scott.
Sirius X.
I see what someone did there.
All right. Hey, Scott, thanks for joining us. Have a great day of sports, and we'll see you again next week.
All right. Happy early Thanksgiving to you guys.
Same
again.
to you, Scott.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Take care.
All right, bye. It's Weekend Warriors on 1580 The Fanatic.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Live and local.
It's fall football season, and Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is doubling down, now at 2 Valley locations. When it comes to Asian cuisine, no one does it better and more authentic than Kasai, where talented Teppan chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse isn't just dinner, it's dinnertainment. A memorable dining experience where a delicious 7-course meal is prepared right at your table with flair. It's a perfect choice for celebrations, date nights, or a night on the town. Choose from over 30 different items and combinations of teppanyaki, Asian fusion, and innovative sushi. Happy Hour is always on fire and offered daily with specials on their Asian-inspired comfort food like Korean steak tacos, Mongolian barbecue ribs, and signature Wagyu beef sliders. Always a memorable dinner, or catch the game in a bite at the bar. At Kasai, now at 2 locations, Scottsdale Road in Thunderbird, and in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppan.com, that's Kasai Teppan.com, or search Kasai on your mobile phone.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-960-3377. That's 800-960-3377. 800-960-3377.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED in my 12 years of practice. But now you can get world-class care for ED 100% online by going to HIMSS.com. So what are you waiting for?
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to HIMSS.com/joy.
The GCU men's basketball squad is coming off their winningest season in 35 years, their third trip to the NCAA tournament in 4 years, and their first ever NCAA tournament victory. Returning 4 of their 5 starters in Ray Harrison, Colin Moore, Duke Brennan, and reigning WAC Player of the Year Tyon Grant Foster, the Lopes look to defend their WAC titles and make a run to the Sweet 16. With a non-conference slate including Stanford, Georgia, and crosstown rival Arizona State, you won't want to miss a moment of the action. So join me, Michael Potter, and Lopes insider Paul Coro all season long right here on the home of the Lopes, 1580 The Fanatic. Lopes up.
The most important event in sports could happen at any time.
Like right now.
Or right now. Or even
now.
Don't miss history. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or at 1580thefanatic.com.
You're live.
Weekend Warriors on 1580 The Fanatic.
All right, so we have one more game we didn't talk about from the picks for this week.
Yep, last game.
And that's it's the
we got the 4-6 Tampa Bay Buccaneers facing the 2-8 Giants.
Yep.
Over in East Rutherford, New Jersey at MetLife Stadium.
East Rutherford.
I don't have the line on this. Do you have the line on this?
What's the line, Phil?
We are looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then that game would be Tampa -6 on the road.
So -6. Neil, what do you got?
Tampa Bay -6. So listen, I've been really excited about this. And honestly, I thought my 2 Italian co-hosts would be more excited. But I think they're reasonable football fans, so they're not getting swept up in the hype. But you got to believe that, yeah, exactly. Giants Nation was energized by Tommy Cutlets getting reinstituted as the starter. Is that the word? Reinstituted, installed, sure. Whatever the case is, over Drew Lock, which we all know is ridiculous. That's a stupid move unless you're just trying to get butts in seats, which is exactly what they're doing. The Giants are trying to breathe life into this franchise. The Daniel Jones experience. What was your favorite Daniel Jones moment, by the way?
When Gardner Minshew was drafted after him, and they're of equal quality of a starting quarterback.
That's about his career.
He's a nice guy.
I'm hearing a lot of people, a lot of analysts, a lot of pundits, ex-coaches saying that they would take Daniel Jones in a heartbeat and start him. We all think it would be deliciously ironic for the Cowboys to pick up Daniel Jones and play against him over Thanksgiving. I'm here for that. I am dreaming. I am praying right now. I am trying to manifest this into the universe. I've got my crystals. I'm going to go to Sedona later today.
Wow.
I want Daniel Jones starting for the Cowboys against the Giants, just for the whatever the term is, whatever that German word is that means Schadenfreude, all that chaos, right? So I am picking the Bucks, but I absolutely want the Giants to cover.
After all that, man,
I'm picking the Bucks, but I absolutely hope the Giants win this game just for fun. Well, listen, here's the thing.
Cannoli Award.
That's right. What's the matter, you?
I want divorce.
Hey, Tommy Cutlets. I want to see his agent in the stands. I want to see everybody wearing this agent's outfit with his top hat and his cane and his suit and the chains. It's going to be like every wannabe mafioso in the entire state of New Jersey and New York is going to be at this game. It's going to be the crowds are going to be fantastic.
My Uncle Mario will be there. Oh, wait, he's dead.
Oh, no, he'll be there. He's just buried underneath the...
Yeah, he probably is buried underneath there. I can tell you some stories.
Yikes.
Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, I think that this is a game you can forget about.
Wow.
I think that the Buccaneers are going to win, and I don't even think that this. You're both right. I have more faith in Drew Lock to be the more talented of the 2 quarterbacks. I feel like they're tanking in all but name. I don't see how this is anything other than a Tampa Bay Buccaneers blowout. Buccaneers.
Forget about it. It's going to be the Buccaneers. There's no way that Cutlets could probably have a terrible game. I'm telling you right now, Drew Lock will be starting for the Giants within 2 weeks. That's my opinion.
Maybe. Depends on how close they are to the first. If it's a difference between 4th to 7th place draft, I don't think that they care and they'll do Drew Lock. But if it's a difference between 1st and 5th, that's a big difference.
True.
All right. So speaking of our Dallas Cowboys. It was funny. NFL Memes put something out, and I wanted to read it because I think it's hilarious. That you realize the Dallas Cowboys mathematically still have a path to not only get in the playoffs, but be the #1 seed in the NFC.
Oh.
Do you want to know how this happens?
Please.
Sure.
I'm guessing a winning streak.
Let me read you the list. Okay. The first one is that the Cowboys have to win out. So that was you.
Yeah, okay.
Nice
Yes.
job.
Yeah, good luck.
The next thing is the Commanders beat the Eagles in Week 16 and otherwise both lose out. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The Giants beat the Buccaneers, Saints, and Falcons. Okay. Now, AFC teams must win all of their remaining interconference matchups. The Lions have to lose out, so they don't win the rest of the season. The Vikings have to lose all remaining games except Week 18 versus the Lions. The Packers and Bears both finish 9-8. The 49ers, Rams, Seahawks all finish 9-8. The Cardinals finish 8-9. And the last piece that has to fall into place is the Falcons finish 9-8, winning the NFC South. So if all of those things happen, that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you can get this 9-leg parlay of all these things happening, if all those happen, your Dallas Cowboys will be the number 1 seed in the NFC.
That would be the worst number 1 seed of all time, of the worst conference of all time.
Of all time?
Of all time. Without
Wow.
a doubt.
And,
Without a doubt.
Number one Rattlers fans on the text line has one word: tanking.
Tanking. Thank you for
Agreed.
being a friend. All right.
Tanking for Dion. They're tanking for Shador.
Exactly. It's unbelievable. I don't know how. Yeah, this is the funnest thing ever. I just
1 minute.
I can't. It's just we're just piling on the Cowboys at this point. Like it's.
But
they
isn't it fun, Neil?
They deserve it though. And listen, I'm beginning to have empathy for their fans because it's like, what else are you gonna do? What else are you gonna do? Are you going to be like Seahawks fans? I don't know. You're going to be...
What does that mean?
I just made it up. I was thinking of something. We got to get you
pathetic, not based
Wow.
in reality. Wow. Delusional. Is that what you were talking about, Neil? How rude of you. How rude of you.
Something like that. Thank you very much.
30.
All right. So
I've got your
one
back,
last
Rob.
text from Rich. Best Daniel Jones moment was when he was running free for a touchdown and tripped over the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
All right. And on that note,
that wins.
Thank you, Rich. Hey, enjoy your games today. If you win, that's awesome. If you lose, sucks to be you. Go Seahawks. They're going to beat the Rising Red Sea. It's Weekend Warriors on 1580, The Fanatic.
Gil Alexander hosts a numbers game. Weekday mornings 8 till 9 on 1599.3 The Fanatic.
Good show.
looks sexy.
We'll talk. We'll grab dinner sometime this week.
Yeah, let us know what your schedule looks like.
Yeah, we're in.
Sounds good.